Welcome to our look back at the 2024 Probite British Rally Championship, which ended with Chris Ingram and Alex Ceredigion celebrating title victory after a season of drama and superb gravel-crunching, tarmac-tearing action. The championship started in northwest England and enjoyed 2 trips to Scotland and 3 to Wales, with a double header at Rali Ceredigion. That meant 7 rounds of gruelling, demanding, stamina-sapping mileage awaited. There were 25 points for the winner of each round, down to 1 for starting the event, with the chance to play a joker and earn extra points. And it all came down to the last event in Llandudno, but there were plenty of twists and turns on the way. To guide us through that journey, Holly McRae went to Monaco, Chris Ingram's home, and invited runner-up William Crichton along to reminisce and to highlight the best moments. Some people get all the best trips.
We're here in Monaco. Chris, tell us how this has become your home base.
Well, it's a long story, but it was always my dream to come and do the Monte Carlo Rally, and the first year I did it, I actually bumped into my girlfriend here, my now girlfriend here. Long story how we met, but yeah, I've been living here the last couple of years, and now it's feels like home.
And well, rallying isn't the only horsepower in your family, is that right?
Yeah, my mum and sort of her side of the family were always into horses, and she went to the Olympics in '84 to Los Angeles with the equestrian, the Irish team. So yeah, I didn't follow in the footsteps of equestrian. I don't think I'm brave enough for that. I like to have a bit of protection around me and a stronger crash helmet on, but I've tried my hand at it, and it's safe to say that's not where my talent lies, and I think everybody in my family will agree with that.
No horses on the Legend Fire's Northwest stages, but that's where the action kicked off, in the Lancashire lanes with 9 special stages. Chris Ingram was the first to test the tarmac, and it was a sign of things to come as he led after stage 1 and never looked like relinquishing that lead. He opened up a nearly 6-second lead on the Beaconfell test.
Yeah, first 2-3 stages. Didn't even get the results after the first one, so I just didn't know how we were doing. I just kept pushing, and then got to the end of that loop and we had a really good lead.
Trying to narrow that lead was Keith Cronin, who was back to try to win a 5th BRC title. But Cronin's impressive start would fade after a puncture and then a bad decision on tyre choice. A series of accidents occurring almost simultaneously across 3 stages led to several tests being scrapped, a challenge for the drivers and their concentration.
Yeah, you have to be able to switch your mindset quite quickly. It was unfortunate for the organisers. People crashed and there was delays, so there was only so much anyone could do. But yeah, for sure, you need to be able to turn it on whenever it counts.
Once battle recommenced in the afternoon, Ocean Price went 8 seconds quicker than the field on the Beaconfell repeat, but disaster struck on the next stage as mechanical gremlins forced him out. That left William Crichton and co-driver Liam Regan in 2nd spot and the leading M Sport Ford World Rally Team driver home. Marion Evans and Jonathan Jackson rounded off the podium places, joining his Castrol MEM colleague Ingram in the celebrations. Neil Roskell was 5th, arguably the drive of the day from a true amateur up against some giants in the rallying world. Among the galaxy of young talent taking part in the junior BRC, Robert Proudlock, with Stephen Brown sitting alongside him, had a great battle with Callum Graffin all afternoon in similar shod Peugeot 208 Rally 4s, and suffered with the various cancellations of the morning. Those cancellations allowed Graffin and co-driver Richard Crozier to edge ahead, despite having to give best to Proudlock on the afternoon stages. So, first blood to Chris Ingram and Alex Ceredigion, while William Crichton and Liam Regan proved early on that they were going to be a threat. There was a podium spot for Marion Evans and Jonathan Jackson, with James Williams and Ross Whittack completing a very satisfactory day's work. Neil Roskell and Di Roberts delighted with 5th. For the second round of the Probite British Rally Championship, we moved to Wales for the Rallynuts Severn Valley stages. The first of 3 gravel events in this year's series, it would feature classic stages from the much-missed Wales Rally GB era, and this 50th anniversary running of the event would challenge man and machine with a route that used some of the best forest stages in the world. From tarmac to gravel, and a very different way of driving.
It's a completely different driving style. On tarmac you need to be super smooth, like an F1 driver around the streets of Monaco, and then when you go to the gravel it's a little bit more like what you might imagine rallying be. You can, slide the car more, you can have more angle on the car, and be more aggressive and a lot more steering input, and then of course a completely different car setup, a lot more travel with the suspension and different tyres to get grip in the gravel road. So it's quite different, and you have a little bit more room for error, you could say, on gravel rallying, so you get away with a little bit more.
Hoping to not need to get away with anything was first round winner and top-seeded Chris Ingram, with Alex Kirani again on the notes. They were the first to tackle the forests and set a time that was fully 3 seconds quicker than the next best on SS1. Next best was Ocean Price, who in turn had around a second over Keith Cronin and William Crichton. Chris Ingram was doing all he could, but the lead changed hands in Maherin, and he was now 3.5 seconds down on the flying Price. A charging Keith Cronin got it wrong in Sweet Lamb and lost time. That allowed William Crichton to cement 3rd place. Now he was chasing Ingram for 2nd. By the end of the next stage, William had got the gap to Ingram to just over 2 seconds. But it was still Price out in front. Crichton overhauled Ingram with a big attack in the Long Maherin stage. The Ford driver absolutely flying, whereas Ingram struggled in the greasy conditions. We were heading for a Ford 1-2.
Driving one of those cars and, those roads, iconic stages from Rally GB of the past, it was a lot of fun, and we seemed just to feel comfortable with everything that was going on.
I just didn't expect it to be so wet and muddy. Bit of a schoolboy error going into the rest of the rally, and we struggled with the car, just with the lack of grip throughout the rest of the day. And I got beat fair and square by Ocean and William.
So Ocean Price had the event in his pocket from stage 3 onwards, and the 2022 champion took a very popular win. It was a great result for him and the home fans.
Yeah, really happy with how the weekend's gone. Hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of strong competition here this weekend. So, first ever gravel rally with the car. So, settled into that quite nicely. But, there's more to come, which is a really positive thing. But, really glad and really thankful for everybody who got us here. And let's see what the next round holds.
Robert Proudlock led home the junior BRC runners. He spent a good part of the rally chasing Johan Lloyd, but was ahead when it mattered. Lloyd had been impressive, but then got beached on the corner on stage 5, allowing Proudlock to steal the laurels. So Ocean Price and Roderick Evans were right back in contention with that win. Crichton was second again and Chris Ingram third, despite not feeling comfortable with the polo on gravel. Ingram still led the championship, Crichton second, and Price jumped into third ahead of Williams fourth and Evans in fifth. While Robert Proudlock took advantage of the unfortunate Lloyd, as did Carl McBride and Keelan Grogan in junior BRC. More rally action, and I do mean action, after the break. The Beatsons Building Supplies Jim Clark Rally was the last event before the summer break, and it was all about the weather and tyres, and it would throw the whole championship wide open with a third winner in 3 rounds and a new championship leader. It was Chris Ingram who set the fastest time on Langton Mill for SS1, but less than 4 seconds covered the top 5, the Castrol MEM driver looking to keep his head above water as the championship leader. Keith Cronin looked like the only one who could keep up with Ingram's pace, but he was already nearly 8 seconds shy of the Volkswagen Polo by the end of SS2.
2.5 left plus half long, gravel.
Stage 3 and Ingram had now built up a healthy lead of over 20 seconds. But Ocean Price did not like the water, spluttering the first time through and this time fully flooded. He wasn't happy.
20 greasy. Start check. 150. Max crest rightish. 100. Max 1 right, 70.
The second run of the St Bathan stage. Ingram was 8 seconds quicker than anyone else the first time around, but this wasn't looking as quick. Keith Cronin, though, was on fire here. He was slashing chunks off Ingram's lead. He ended up 14 seconds quicker than Ingram on this stage, and overall it meant Chris's lead was down to around 8 seconds. But then drama. At Edram Special Stage 8, Chris Ingram picked up a slow puncture, and that triggered a big off and retirement.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself for that one because it's a rally I really wanted to win, the Jim Clark, and you know the name, the legacy of that event, and we were so strong at the start, like in the Northwest, and then yeah, I made a few mistakes within that stage, and then right on the very last corner, with a slow puncher, we went off. I outbraked myself, and yeah, not too much damage, but enough to put us out the rally and throw that one away, really, yeah.
That meant Keith Cronin was now the leader, and he was just over 37 seconds clear of William Crichton as he went through the unique farmhouse section on this stage. Crichton was now second, and that was a position he had occupied in all the BRC events to this point. Would he keep it or go one better? James Williams' rally came to an end with a power steering issue.
I'm going to pull over here on the left.
Yeah, that's fine.
Should go right.
Yeah.
Taking stage wins and now comfortably second was William Crichton, chasing after Keith Cronin. Also in trouble, Marion Evans. His rally was about to come to an end. The power steering pump, the issue. So it was all looking very comfortable for Keith Cronin. He was well over half a minute ahead of the opposition, and after a tough start to the season, the points for a win here would be invaluable. A rare event in rallying, as William Crichton dead heated with Cronin on this stage, both of them stopping the clock at 6 minutes 17.4 seconds here on SS10, the Fogo stage. But Cronin was heading for his first win of the season, kick-starting his title ambitions.
It's great for the championship. Yeah, we didn't have the greatest first 2 rounds, different things happening. It was good to get the win here, but as I said, when the championship was going bad after the first 2 rounds, as I said, then there's still long championships, still a long way to go. Win is great to have in the bag, but as I said, yeah, long way to go. Hopefully we will need more wins. So yeah, on to the next round.
William Crichton set the fastest time of all on SS12 and guaranteed himself second again.
I was starting to build a new cabinet at home for all these second place trophies.
All of the silverware.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's just the way it went. I think after the Jim Clark, the stage end interview after the last stage, they told me that I was leading the championship, and I had no idea that I was even close to that position. So that was really unexpected, and I guess that shows you what consistency can do in a championship.
Joining Crichton on the podium was local man Gary Pearson, also in a Ford Fiesta, and that was a great result for the Scotsman. In the Peugeot versus Ford Battle of Donegal, Kyle McBride came home victorious, but with just 10 seconds between him and Ryan McHugh. after the two had played musical chairs, trading the lead. So Keith Cronin joined the list of winners, William Crichton continued his love affair with the second step on the podium, and Gary Pearson rounded out the top three. Max McRae was a very impressive fourth, while Kyle White was fifth after dreadful luck so far. William Crichton now led the championship, but as he'd explained to Holly, he wasn't aware of it. Chris Ingram slipped to second, but he had his new Toyota Yaris to come at the next event. Keith Cronin had jumped into the top three. Carl McBride had a great junior BRC battle with Ryan McHugh and finally just edged his Donegal compatriot out. Callum Graffin took the third spot. Robert Proudlock headed the championship standings. Kyle McBride was close behind and Callum Graffin was just a couple of points further back. With the summer break over, the teams gathered in Scotland again for the Voyonic Grampian Forest Rally. And what a rally it turned out to be. William Crichton, with 3 straight second places and the championship lead, still looked very strong, but he still hadn't won a BRC rally in 2024, while Chris Ingram, Ocean Price and Keith Cronin had each notched up a victory. The main talking point before the start of the rally was the arrival of the Toyota GR Yaris Rally 2 for Chris Ingram.
It was just perfect to get it in time for a gravel rally because it's been predominantly developed in Finland and on gravel surface. So yeah, we knew that we could be strong with it fairly quickly.
But it was William Crichton who was quick on the first 2 special stages, which were held on the Friday. He was flying.
4 right minus in. Repeated 4 right minus in. Having into.
But if ever there was a what might have been rally for William Crichton, this was it. The first of 2 punctures of the event came here on the first run through Finglenny, and that dropped him 27 seconds off Ocean Price, who was now leading.
We started well, we had good speed and maybe slightly ragged, trying too hard, and that's whenever maybe you ask a little much of some things, and we picked up a couple of punctures, but we showed really good speed, and that was, I suppose, the most positive, and confidence to myself that we could fight the top guys from the start of the rally. So yeah, like you say, ups and downs in a short rally like that can really hamper you, and that was really our downfall to getting a good result there. And I think that's one in my head that will stick with me, that got away on us, that if we had a cleaner event, then you don't know what could have happened.
Closing out day one, and Ocean Price led the rally, but it was tight. Just 4 seconds the margin. On day 2, there was not much time to be made up on the short clattering kissed stage, but Ingram was charging, and he ended the stage 0.4 of a second quicker than Price. On to stage 4. Crichton was in a league of his own here, and his time was fully 3.4 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. And despite those punctures, he had moved into 3rd place, having leapfrogged both James Williams and Keith Cronin. Leader Ocean Price headed into stage 5 of Durris, but he had under 2 seconds on Ingram. The target here was to stretch the lead.
1 right opens long. 50. Easy to easy.
An uncharacteristic mistake from Crichton on stage 5. He got going again, but he was well over 30 seconds adrift.
Was, like you say, stage 5. Sort of halfway into the stage, we were having a really nice run, and we felt really comfortable, but sometimes when you're at that speed, it's just one small error can, you can have a spin or whatever it was. And yeah, at 5th gear, we had a really high speed spin and went down the road at 90 or 100 mile an hour sideways, which is never great, just waiting to hit something hard. But thank goodness we did a complete 180 and got in our way again, but dropped quite a lot of time. But I think it took the rest of the stage, to be honest, just to get over that one.
We had a moment in the very same place as well.
Yeah.
So it was definitely.
Yeah,
a bit
maybe
of a
there
dodgy
was
corner.
something about that corner,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely nothing to do with the drivers.
It's never anything to do with the drivers. And then another spin, this time from the leader, Ocean Price. Stage 5 was causing mayhem.
It would have been nice to win, but obviously my little mistake on stage 5 cost us that.
That mistake opened the door for Chris Ingram, and he did not need another invitation as he posted the fastest time on this stage, nearly 2 seconds quicker than the next best.
Chris, when we spoke to you at the end of that event, you said that you never like winning a rally based off of someone else's misfortune, but surely a win's a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And we drove a clean rally, and yeah, we weren't entirely happy with setup, but we chipped away, and yeah, like you say, a win's a win, and it was a relief to get that one.
Joining the podium was Keith Cronin, who benefited from James Williams' unfortunate ending after he hit a rock and snapped a suspension arm. But the drama continued across all categories. Junior BRC leader Ryan McHugh retired after a rock broke his wheel. And Kyle McBride got a bill from us for a new camera. Both Kyle and Darren Mullen emerged unscathed from this spectacular off. So, suddenly, Robert Proudlock, the man leading the standings for the championship, was top of the pile in the event, and he could put real daylight between him and the rest for the title. But overall, it was that Ingram-Kirani deadly duo once again, topping the standings. Price and Rodri Evans were just seconds behind, with 2022 Grampian winners Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin again on the podium. It was still William Crichton leading the overall standings though, but now just 1 point separated him and Chris Ingram. Keith Cronin was third and Ocean Price fourth. It was starting to look like a 4-horse race. Robert Proudlock led the juniors home. Keelan Grogan was second and Johan Lloyd rounded out the podium, with several of the leading contenders going home empty-handed. And Proudlock now had daylight between himself and Carl McBride in the championship. Callum Graffin still held third, while Keelan Grogan jumped into fourth. It was the jewel in the crown next for Rali Ceredigion. It was all to play for. As we
Tell us, what was it like to have the drivers and the camera crews of the European Championship coming to Britain?
Incredible stages, incredible roads, atmosphere. The most difficult rally of the year for me, because first time in the Araton tarmac with barely any time in the car beforehand, and yeah, it was a very tricky event for us.
Nothing tricky early on for Chris, as the first 2 stages were short runs around the Aberystwyth seafront, and he took an early lead. Remember, 2 wins here and he would be BRC champion for 2024. The following morning there was early drama. William Crichton had a puncture in the first 5 kilometres and had to change a tyre. That was a real blow for the Irishman following his tyre issues in Scotland.
Yeah, we took a cut on the inside of a right-hander, and it just sucked me in, and quite a slow speed accident, if you can call it that, but we got beached in the ditch, and it took us a couple of minutes to get going again. But yeah, it was just a nightmare of a rally for me, with punctures and going off the road on the first day. So yeah, not great.
No nightmares for Ingram, who was flying from the off. the big talking point was this man, James Williams. With Ross Whittock sitting alongside on their home event, they set the fastest time overall, including all the ERC runners, a blitzing 10 minutes 18.8, almost a full 6 seconds quicker than Ingram. The man whose house literally overlooked this stage was now in the overall lead. But then, disaster. On the first Lynn-Briand test, Williams rolled the car 1.5 kilometres into the stage. No one was hurt, but the hold-up meant the stage was cancelled and drivers were given a notional time. Nant Imoch is a driver's favourite, but not a favourite now of William Crichton.
30, early, 3 left, on over the best tightens to slow 3 left, into 4 right, slow, cut tightens, 30, 5 left, minus narrow over grid. Oh.
This spin cost him plenty of time. He did eventually get going, but his hopes were gone. Would Sunday be any better?
Do you ever have events where you just want to pack up and go home for a cup of tea?
We're very lucky to do what we do, and you know, when you're driving those cars, you know, you might show a bit of, you know, disappointment at the end of the stage, and when the guys stick the camera in, it's, you know, you have to be honest. But yeah, a couple of miles down the road section, Liam will sort of wind me up and bring me back to reality, and you know, okay, if we're out of the position to have a good result, then we'll go have some fun and try and learn. So yes, at a point in time, maybe that's what you want to do, but no, it quickly shifts to you know, enjoyment after that.
Gary Pearson and Daniel Barrett were in trouble as well, real trouble. They were okay, but a lot of time had been lost. The Welsh Dragon was roaring as first Ocean Price laid down the fastest time of the day. And then Marion Evans came in with the second fastest time on SS5, 2.5 seconds shy of Price. After the midpoint service, John Armstrong, a late call-up for the M Sport team and making his first BRC appearance of 2024, went fastest of all on the afternoon stages, but an earlier puncture meant fourth was the best he could manage. Ahead of him and securing third was Ocean Price. While Keith Cronin and Mikey Galvin were comfortable in second. But Chris Ingram and Alex Kirahani always looked in charge, coming home 10 seconds clear of Cronin.
We had a few good stages, but it didn't feel that good, so it was another relief really to get that win, and yeah, it was a tough day.
So Chris Ingram made it 3 wins, and he will clinch the title if he won round 6 the following day. Keith Cronin took the runner-up spot, and Ocean Price, winner last year, had to make do with third place. John Armstrong was fourth in his first BRC outing of the season, just 1/10 of a second behind Price. Triple champion Matt Edwards also scored well on his first outing, and Marion Evans rounded out the top 6. Chris now jumped back to the top of the standings, with Keith Cronin 20 points behind, both having played their joker. William Crichton dropped down to third, Ocean Price and Marion Evans the only others who could realistically challenge for the title. Johan Lloyd was pretty much untroubled in the junior category, Ryan McHugh and Kyle McBride the only ones within 2 minutes of him. Robert Proudlock was still atop the overall classification, McBride and Lloyd having closed the gap. Round 6 brought different challenges as Sunday introduced new stages to the event. Chris Ingram would be crowned 2024 Probite British Rally Champion if he won today. The unfortunate William Crichton was first to tackle Bethania first time around, and if he was upset by the events of yesterday, it certainly wasn't showing. He set a time that looked really hard to beat. 1.7 kilometres in, and Chris Ingram went from hero to zero. He wasn't going to win the BRC title today.
We got caught out very early into the first stage. I was carrying a bit too much speed, but also the car stalled under braking, which took me completely by surprise, and it looked like a big off, but actually got away with quite minimal damage, showing the amazing strength of that little Toyota. The hardest part was then watching the live footage from the last stage and seeing Will obviously take that result and kicking myself in the hotel room afterwards.
To come away with the maximum points to then take it to the Cambrian, I kind of felt lucky in a way that we were in that position to take the fight to the last round. And I suppose if I go back to the start of the year and someone told me I'd be in that position, I would have been, I definitely would have taken it. I would have been delighted. So it meant that all focus was on the Cambrian, and yeah, it was a fight to the death.
Keith Cronin knew that maximum points here would give him the lead in the championship, but he was another one to succumb to the testing nature of this rally.
41 left over crest, stay in 40.
The crew was okay, but this incident meant SS11 was called off, with the other cars given a notional time. Matching Crichton and Liam Regan in Hafford literally to the 100th of a second were Matt Edwards and David Moynihan in their Ford. The three-time British Rally champion showed he still had it on his return to the series, and they would end up third. But he had a great battle with Ocean Price, who was fourth, just 2/10 adrift. But it was John Armstrong who proved his form yesterday afternoon was no fluke. Some 30 seconds ahead of his nearest BRC1 challenger, he headed for an easy win. But William Crichton's second place turned into first when Armstrong was hit with a 20-second penalty for handing paperwork in late at the final time control.
One right for 100. Tightens to 2 over finish. 40. Slight right, 30.
That gave William Crichton a first victory of the season.
Hold up.
And all that meant, as we headed into the final event of the year, Crichton had a 1-point lead over Ingram, with Price and Cronin in the wings, waiting to pick up any errors from the two favourites. It was equally tight in the team standings, with 3 points separating M Sport and Team Castrol MEM. In the juniors, it was a double whammy for Ireland as Ryan McHugh steered his Ford into the top spot. Johan Lloyd added to yesterday's win with a second place the following day. A very satisfactory weekend's work. Ryan McHugh took the junior laurels then, with Johan Lloyd and Keelan Grogan joining him on the podium. Robert Proudlock continued to lead the standings, with Lloyd and Kyle McBride the chasing pair, but winner McHugh was just 4 points behind McBride after today's win. It had been a wild West of Wales weekend, but now, as we headed to the season finale, we had another sort of showdown. High noon at Llandudno, if you like. Join us after the break to see how it ended. Welcome back to the final part of our 2024 Probite British Rally Championship review. The championship has a long history of attracting some of the biggest names, and this season was no different. Jos Verstappen, Max's father, joined the fun at the Severn Valley stages. And seeing Jimmy McRae in the same event as grandson Max, the bionic Grampian Rally, was an absolute joy. So too it was to see the 1984 World Rally champion Stig Blomqvist on the stages of the Cambrian, based in Llandudno. It's not often that he is not the main attraction, but even Stig had to give way to the battle for the 2024 crown. A reminder that a win for Chris Ingram or William Crichton would guarantee the title, and there were plenty of other scenarios with Keith Cronin and Ocean Price in with an outside chance.
The mindset was just drive at our speed and not do any more, because a few times during the year I probably pushed a bit too hard a few times when I didn't really need to. So it was to just believe in myself and know that I don't need to do more or push or chase it any more than I believe I had to.
It was equally tight for the team's title, 3 points the difference between the top two. And the junior battle had, would you believe, 6 potential champions, but the most likely winner would come from the top 3. But it was really about the British Rally Championship for drivers, and Chris Ingram was the first of the title challengers, Alex Kirani on the notes, as he had been all season. Having started the year in a Volkswagen and then having to adapt to the Toyota, it hadn't been an easy season for Ingram.
3, 2, 1, go. 30.
Ocean Price blasted away in his Ford Fiesta Rally 2 with Rodri Evans his wingman. Price needed a lot of counters to fall in the right place if he was going to pull off an unlikely title victory.
60. Open 3 left, keep in, and open 1 right, in. 6 left.
Go, 20, 3 right over crest, 20, 2 left right into 3.
The same could be said for this man, Keith Cronin. But after his title win in the Irish Tarmac Championship, along with Mikey Galvin in the co-driver's seat, his confidence was sky high.
5 left, stay in.
60.
William Crichton started the chase with Liam Regan giving guidance. Remember, if Crichton won the rally, he would be champion.
30. Watch your service.
This was an extraordinary rally, with Crichton literally matching Ingram's pace 10th for 10th. In fact, he ended the first stage less than a second behind Ingram.
I did it. What is it? I don't know. She just took off.
One man who wouldn't be in the final mix, though, was Keith Cronin. He was trying to equal Jimmy McRae's 5 British Rally Championship titles, but he was not going to do it this year. A drive shaft had shattered in his Ford Fiesta, and so had his championship hopes.
Broken wheel.
I don't know what that's.
Into crest, 20, 6 right plus. There's a broken wheel, Keith.
Okay, we have to get it.
6 right plus half long, into 3 left. Are you stopping?
And half the, we didn't hit anything, did we?
No, I don't know what happened. 40, turn 4 right.
I go out of here?
Yeah. You'll have to.
Crichton would end the second stage just over a second behind Ingram. That's hardly the blink of an eye, and the drivers knew it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Were you keeping an eye on the times?
Absolutely, yeah. At some point I had to ask Will for his times because they weren't coming through. But it was an unbelievable battle. To be that close is insane.
Just to underline that, and in keeping with the way this extraordinary rally went, William Crichton completed SS4 with exactly the same time as Chris. But Ingram had eked out an advantage on the previous stage, so the gap was now 5 seconds.
50.
The last service halt of the season was behind them, and Ocean Price was comfortably third.
6 right of a bump, 100.
Less comfortable after this, though.
50. Open 5 right, small cut. 70. Good lad.
Price rejoined, time lost.
6 left in, over bump.
Another of those what-if situations. Crichton was still chasing glory and chasing Chris Ingram. He was running out of miles, and then he ran out of luck. He had a spin on the penultimate stage. Surely nothing could stop Ingram now.
Going into the penultimate stage, I think it was still about a 5 or 6 second gap, and at that point of the day it was all or nothing. So we gave it absolutely everything, and we had a half spin at the end of Alwyn. Just left my braking a little bit too late, and it was either spin or end up in the ditch, and we got away with it. But yeah, it was just that one I'm not so annoyed about, because we just put everything on the table and tried our best.
Much to Holly's joy, Max McRae had the pedal to the metal all day, and but for a spin on SS2, he would have been looking at a podium finish. He was absolutely flying here. In fact, he took his first ever stage win in a British Rally Championship round on SS7. But the real winner was on the final stretch, and this is how Chris Ingram and Alex Ceredigion drove it home.
Max 1 left, 1 right, 40. Max jump into Max leftish, 70. Max leftish wide to finish. That's it!
Well done, mate. Oh, let's get home to the finish line. Well done.
Well done, well done.
Chris Ingram and Alex Ceredigion confirmed as the 2024 British Rally Champions.
Now that you've had a little while to digest everything that happened on that day, how do you put it into words?
Difficult.
Still struggling now?
Yeah, it's just very special, and really means a lot to me, more than the European title, I think, because it was such a great fight. It made it all extra motivational and then special to have won it. Alex and I just worked really hard for it and pushed really hard, so we felt like we earned it in the end.
So Chris Ingram won the Visit Conwy Cambrian Rally, William Crichton second for the 4th time this season, whilst Ocean Price grabbed another visit to the podium. And Max McRae showed us what we can look forward to in future years. Chris Ingram took a maiden British Rally Championship title. Alex Ceredigion, his co-driver, the first American to win the crown, while second was William Crichton's 2024 reward after an ultra-consistent year. Ocean Price will also reflect on a season where, but for a couple of non-finishes, he too could have been looking at the title. Instead, it was 3rd overall. In an incredibly tight teams battle, it was the Castrol MEM squad that picked M Sport Ford and JKS 3rd. In the junior ranks, Craig Rahill won at the first time of asking this season on the Cambrian and stood atop the junior BRC podium. He was joined by Ryan McHugh on the second step. McHugh did everything he could to grab the 2024 title from Robert Proudlock, but he couldn't quite manage it. Aoife Raftery rounded out the junior BRC podium, and she was very happy with the top 3 result. Not as happy as this man, though. Robert Proudlock, the 2024 Junior British Rally Champion, guided throughout the season by Stephen Brown.
46. Up to stop. 46. I really hope that's enough.
So, confirmation of the Cambrian Rally result for the junior drivers. The honours went to Craig Rahill with Ryan McHugh second and Aoife Raftery third. Robert Proudlock's 4th place was the one that really mattered, though, because it meant that he was the 2024 Junior BRC champion. Even though Ryan McHugh ran in close, and Kyle McBride never gave up the chase.
Compared to last weekend when the car was on its roof, to be up on the top of the podium or up on top of the roof again, it's just fantastic. It's been one hell of a week, and yeah, I'm certainly going to sleep tonight, that's for sure.
Let's take a moment also to celebrate the BRC winners in the other categories. Congratulations to William Mines and Thomas Whittle on winning the national category, while John Rintoul and Ross Hind were the Open title winners. But let's hear from our 2024 British Rally champion one last time.
Massive respect to everyone involved, to Will, all of our rivals, and massive thanks to the championship, all of my partners who have supported me, and everyone, even people on social media who have backed us, because it's been a great boost for British rallying, I believe, as well.
Indeed it has, and it all starts next year on the 23rd of February when the East Riding